What is up, guys? Star Wars Only, and today we're going to talk about the two biggest mistakes in the Star Wars prequels. Now, this is not a bashing of the Star Wars prequels video. This is simply a video stating on the two biggest mistakes, in my opinion, that the Star Wars prequel have made, and if they were fixed, the prequels would be a lot better. And this is all just my personal opinion, but I'm pretty confident a lot of you would agree with me. It's not a hate video for the prequels, it's just a mistake video on what they've done wrong and what they could fix to make the movies better. So, let's get right into mistake number one. So, the first biggest mistake that the prequels have made was the portrayal of Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker. Now, you can make the argument that they're different people, but they're really not. They're the exact same person no matter how you look at it. So, my problem with the prequels is the fact that you watch the originals and they make Anakin Skywalker seem like this big badass because he is Darth Vader, and Darth Vader looks like a complete badass. And then you go to the prequels and you see the true Anakin Skywalker and it completely kills the character. I really don't know how anyone could actually try to defend Anakin Skywalker. It's not Hayden Christensen's fault. I mean, it is because he's a bad actor, but it's George Lucas's fault as well for writing Darth Vader to be basically a little bitch. I mean, look at the scene where he's all yelling at Padme and he's all like, "I slaughter them like animals. I hate them." He sounds so whiny and complaining, it's annoying. And are you an angel? Oh, the space pilots say the angels are the most beautiful things in the galaxy. Like, this stuff doesn't make Darth Vader seem like a badass. It kills the character a lot, thinking, wow, look at this badass from the original trilogy, and then look at this whiny little bitch from the prequels. I mean, truly ask yourself that. How would you feel if from 1977 to 1980 to 1983, you watch all the Star Wars movies, and Darth Vader is the biggest badass you could ever think of in film history. And you're like, wow, his name's Anakin Skywalker? Well, I wonder what he's really like as a Jedi. He's got to be a badass Jedi, right? Who's having like struggling conflict, and he always keeps to himself, and he's really cool and badass, but he's in love with this woman that he wants to be with for the rest of his life. And then 1999 happens, you meet Anakin Skywalker. Are you an angel? This is pod racing. Like, it's horrible. And then you get to episode 2 and he's all complaining like a little girl and all creepy and like, don't stare at me like that. Why not? It creeps me out. I'm sorry, my lady. It's freaky. It doesn't make sense. I mean, episode 3, seeing him become Darth Vader had its moments. Whenever he wasn't talking and he was staring out the window at the Jedi Council temple, and that was pretty cool looking. That showed like the coolness of Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. But even other scenes where he's like, "You're so beautiful," and she's like, "Only because you're blinded in love," or whatever. He's like, No, because I'm so in love with you." It's like, it's like the character keeps getting killed here. Like, stop killing it and digging the hole deeper. It's just, Darth Vader's character was completely killed in the prequels by bad writing, bad acting, and cringy ass scenes. That's the entire reason I feel like that character should have been redone. I hope they would have fixed it back then, but they can't. But they should have made it where Darth Vader just seemed a lot better, and he wasn't some cringy little boy. Like, that's the only problem I have with that character in the prequels. The second and final and biggest mistake, in my opinion, that the prequel trilogy did was spoiling the original trilogy. Spoiling the most iconic moment in Star Wars history. Now, if you're curious on what I'm talking about, then you should just go ahead and get out of the fucking video, because if you don't know the most iconic moment in Star Wars history, you're honestly not a true fan. But I'm not going to be that kind of asshole to say that. I'm just going to tell you what that moment is, and that's the Empire Strikes Back, where he says, "No, I am your father." And Luke's like, "Nah!" I mean, that was so shocking and revealing. It was just amazing that happened in the original trilogy. Like, when you watch Empire Strikes Back for the first time, and you have no idea about Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, if they're related or not, and you hear Vader say that, you're like, holy shit! I mean, you literally shit your pants. I mean, it's that awesome, and that's how people felt when they first saw it. That moment is completely killed in the prequel trilogy, because George Lucas looked at it like, well, everyone's already seen the originals, so they want to see the prequels. I get that, but I don't at the same time, because when you're making the movies, and you're going 1, 2, 3, and then you go 4, 5, 6, you need to make it where if you're watching them in order, it all makes sense and it all has the same iconic feelings and whatnot. I had a friend, and I made her watch all the Star Wars movies, and I sadly made her watch them in order from 1 through 7. And so she watched 1, 2, and 3, and then she gets to 4 and 5, and she tells me the minute she started episode 4, she was like, "Do they know that Vader's their father?" And I'm like, "No." And then episode 5 comes around, she's like, "Wow, how do they not know that?" And she knew that they didn't know, but she was just like, the moment was killed for her because she didn't get to experience the same thing everyone else got to experience of the big reveal of, oh my god, Vader's Luke Skywalker's father. This is amazing. She got to the reveal, back in episode 3, so when it came up in episode 5, she was like, "Oh, well, I already knew that." See, that shouldn't happen. That moment is killed. That iconicness is no longer there. And that's the biggest mistake the prequels made. If they could have changed it up where it still remained a mystery, then great. But they didn't. And that's the major problem with the prequels. Now, you can try to argue the fact that, oh, well, there's almost no way around it. And hell, you might be right. But if that's the case, then don't make the fucking prequels. I mean, let's be honest. There were ways around it. I promise you there was ways they could have fixed it and done it and made it where it still would have had that same originality and same iconic feeling when you watched episode 5. But George didn't do that. No one sat there and told him, "Hey, buddy, you realize this kills episode 5. This kills episode 6 too." Because everyone knows who's who. Everyone knows that Luke and Leia are related, and everyone knows that Darth Vader is their father. And we don't want to know that. We want it to remain a mystery. Well, not even remain a mystery, but it's supposed to remain a mystery when you're watching it in order, and it doesn't. And that's the biggest problem with the Star Wars prequels. So, hope you guys liked that video. Hope you guys agree with me, and if you don't, comment below, and I'm pretty confident you prequel fanboys are going to call me a fucking Rancor piece of shit, but I don't care. So, comment your thoughts below. Comment your thoughts on the biggest mistake the prequels made. I'm Star Wars Only. Comment, like, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. May the Force be with you, always.